The Rockets beat the Heat, and the Heat are now on a 10-game losing
Heat
streak.
won.
They're third. Oh, they now have won a game.
Andrew Williams up 42.
One
Shout
for
out
the
Wig.
last 11. Now, in that stretch before today's game,
Shout
the
out
Heat were
motherfucking Wig.
30th in offensive rating. With Jimmy Butler 13 and 12, without him 16 and 29. But before that losing streak, they were 16 and 19. So they were staying above water, but I don't know what happened with them. They just completely collapsed. Kel'el Ware started playing the 5, and Bam is playing better. And Bam, I don't know if you guys have noticed, but since the All-Star break, I think he's shooting 40% from 3 on almost 4 attempts. Like, he is shooting the 3 ball. He's shooting it efficiently. Tyler Hero has been a little bit up and down. The Heat have just sucked. Some of them have been close losses, but some of them they've gotten embarrassed. Like against the Knicks on national television, they got embarrassed pretty handily. But then the other night against the Rockets, it's a close game. I just think the Heat, they're just not that good right now. I think they need another creator desperately, and Tyler Hero can't be the only person creating shots for them.
They had another creator, Riv. You know who that guy is?
Davion Mitchell.
Big buckets, Jimmy G buckets. You feel me? And I think Miami's just not good. And I think it's okay to not be good at certain points in your franchise's life. We need parity. Miami's run is over. Listen, you traded away Jimmy Butler. You were solid before you traded him away. You're just a scrappy team that just got caught into a bad funk. You know, you're not this most talented team. Your offense isn't the best. I think you're just a team that you was hovering. You was playing solid ball, and then you went into a nasty rut. That just shows you're not that good of a team. You know, I think a team that's led by Hero and Bam, not the best thing you want to see. I think you would think off first thought lottery team. But I think them not being good is good. Like, I think they need to add some talent in the draft. I think especially trusting in their player development, you know, guys like Duncan Robinson, Hayward Highsmith, Kel'el Ware starting to play really well. Just like Gabe Vincent, Max Strus, like they're a pretty good team in terms of player development. So I think bringing in another lottery pick with some flash and flair, I would love Jeremiah Fears here. Like if he can get here, I'm moved.
So interesting tidbit.
Thanks, bro.
The Heat, they don't have their pick. They have the Warriors pick, which is protected 1 through 10. But they have the Warriors first round pick. They don't have their own first round pick.
Well, you better pray to God Jeremiah falls. But if not,
that it will not happen.
Yeah, I still think
OKC.
Let me check it right now.
Yeah, but Miami's just in a rut, man. But I will say some solid players out there. But free Spo.
Free Spo is fair. This is what happens when I guess Bam Adebayo is your best player. That was a rude, unnecessary shot. But really, what it has to do was Jimmy Butler's not on the team. The vibe's off. They need another creator. Tyler Hero obviously has been having a solid season, been struggling lately. But regardless, you know that this team was the trio of Tyler Hero, of Jimmy Butler, and Bam Adebayo. When they were at their best, you saw that it translated to winning basketball. It's just been downhill. The vibes are off. They know that this isn't a team that can compete. Again, I just feel like offense has been ugly. They don't have a lot of guys that can get theirs. And again, it's forcing Bam Adebayo to expand upon his offensive game, which, hey, maybe that could help him in the future. But he's been playing good basketball. He's not the main problem. It's just that there's just a strong lack of consistent talent on this Heat team. And Riv, I think that you hit on a lot of points. It's okay. It's all right. There's a time for you to rebuild. You need to find a way to do that in a way that is going to be a speedy process. But retool is a perfect way to put it. But Pat Riley, I feel like he's getting too big for his britches. He felt like he was too big for LeBron. He moved off. He was like, all right, we don't need you. It is what it is. Oh, Jimmy, we're here now. Jimmy, you've been great for us. Now it's gotten to the point where, Jimmy, I really don't need you. We can move off from you. And that's just how the league goes. Players cycle through and players come and go. And now you're starting to realize that that's not the case. Maybe it's better to show love to your better players and respect and appreciate your better players. You disrespected Dwayne Wade. You're just lucky that Dwayne Wade is the heart and soul of Miami and that he was willing to be open-minded and have a clean spirit to come back and try and right wrongs. You've disrespected the cream of the crop of your organization, and now it's leading you to a point where you've got nothing in return. And that's where it really gets unfortunate for Miami Heat, the organization, and Miami Heat, the fans.
Well, not nothing. Jimmy Wiggins just dropped 40 today.
Right? Like, congrats, guys. Andrew Wiggins, awesome. Against the
So-
Charlotte Hornets, one of the worst teams in basketball.
Circling back,
42, Rib, but come on, you know the sentiment. Who gives a rat's ass?
circling back on the pick stuff.
Gotta free my boy.
Miami's first round pick this year is protected 1 through 14. It would go to OKC if it wasn't protected though.
They can have two.
But yeah, right now it looks like they're gonna keep their lottery pick, which is good news for them.
So I have 2 picks in the first 25.
Yeah, because they have the Warriors first round pick that they sent them for Butler. I still think trading Butler was the right decision. Like if they didn't trade him, I mean, they're still, I think, in the same spot. Like they're still a playoff team. Maybe
now they don't have their pick though. Like if they don't trade him, Jimmy probably lackadaisically could play somewhere a little bit. But now you probably don't lose this many games. You probably now lose your first round pick, and you don't have Golden State's pick.
Do we think that Eric Spoelstra is going to stay in Miami like in the next 2-3 years, or do you think he's going?
I think if Pop can stay through the mud, I think Spo can stay through the mud.
Because there has been some chatters online. I've been in on Knicks Twitter, and they've been talking about it. Eric Spoelstra coming to the Knicks.
Right.
Now with Tibbs, just like that.
Right.
I don't think the Knicks can win a championship with Tibbs.
It's not Tibbs' fault that you don't have depth.
He doesn't play anybody.
If Spo had this team, are you a championship contender?
No, I think we're better though. I like Tom Thibodeau. I don't think in any playoff series outside of a couple of teams is a better coach than the opposing coach, than a coach on the opposite side. I don't think he's better than Kenny Missoula. He's better than Doc Rivers. I'll say that. I think he's better than Doc Rivers. But I think that's like much closer than we're leading to believe. I don't think that's a clearing. I really don't. I think they're like in the same tier. JB Bickerstaff, I think Thibodeau's over him. Rick Carlisle, put Rick Carlisle over Tom Thibodeau. I just seen
why.
Because I think Rick Carlisle is a better coach. He has a better offensive system in place than him.
Tom Thibodeau has more success. I lied. He has a ring. Never mind.
I think that he has a better system in place.
Tibb was the reason Celtics was elite defensively.
Tibbs is a defensive coach, but I feel like this was evident in the playoff series that the Knicks lost against the Hawks. Their defensive philosophy get exposed in the playoffs because it tends to leave shooters open. The Knicks this year, they allow, I think they're top 10 in allowed 3-pointers attempted per game.
Mm-hmm.
So I just feel like Tom Thibodeau, I don't know. Like I think he's a great floor raiser, ceiling raiser. I know the Knicks don't have the roster either, but I don't know if he is also the right guy to elevate a team's ceiling to.
No, I'm with you. And Spo is interesting because, like, Drew, to your Pop point, just like Pop is so old at this point. Like, do you want to be when you're in like your 70s? Do you want to start over a new organization, have all this pressure on you? Whereas Spo is like still super in his prime and still, one of the younger coaches, even though he's been coaching for so damn long. Yeah, it's going to be up to him. Like, I'm sure he has a lifetime contract with Miami, but Miami, I'm sure you could trade a coach. I'm sure teams are willing to give up first-round picks to get Spo to be their head coach because he's still regarded as one of the best in the league. But I think the one kind of silver lining for Miami is just they've been so great at drafting over the last few years that's the one area that they can build through. I feel like Jaime is probably a bit disappointing in year two.
Very disappointing.
Yeah, you thought that this was going to be a guy that's like a key role player for you, and maybe, who knows, maybe even a little bit more, can be like a borderline all-star, even though I see the upside is not completely there, but just in a weaker East, could he have progressed into like a guy that averages, 17 or 18 or something like that? But he's definitely been disappointing. But I mean, you drafted Kel'el Ware this year at 15? He was really good, or he's been good, I should say. Jovic a couple of years ago, as I feel like slowly progressed. Of course, Hero a few years back, Bam a few years back. So they have hit on most of their draft picks. Like they have a couple here that, you're not thrilled was a Precious Achiuwa in 2020. But for the most part, they've drafted well. And I think that's the one area where Miami Heat fans have to feel positive about. But at the end of the day, they don't have a star. Like they have a lot of really good players, but they don't have a 1. And realistically, I don't know if they have a 2. Shout out to Bam, but like offensively, is that going to be your 2 on a championship?
Bam is a 3. It's okay.
Exactly. Bam's a 3 who could, really anchor your defense. But if you're missing a 1 and you're missing a 2 offensively, it's hard to be anything, even in the fucking East, who's pretty terrible, right? Like they're 29-41 right now. that's bad. Like that is when I looked at that, I like got a jump scare. That's how terrible that is. When you look at a couple of teams that are over you, like the Magic feel like have been so awful this year and they're comfortably over them. So I do think it's been obviously a disappointing season, but it was almost felt expected after the first couple of months. And Jimmy Butler was kind of like, I'm not going to play here. We have to move off Jimmy. I don't know what the real expectations were once that kind of, came to fruition. You knew you weren't going to do anything special, but I agree with you, Joel. This is probably the best thing in the long run because you're going to be keeping your draft pick. You have the Warriors pick. And Jimmy Butler, for as good as he is, if you would have kept him this year, his value just would have gone down because he's going to be another year older, right? It's a little less time on his contract, even though the Warriors extended him. And if he wasn't willing to play, he either doesn't play or he comes back and does play, but he's not probably going to be giving it his all. Like Jimmy Butler's not going out there, I think, for this Heat team, as he was showing, like, I'm going to go and do everything I can for this organization. He probably would have played, I don't want to say half-assed because Jimmy Butler's such a competitor, but I don't think he would have played at the level where the Heat want him to play to keep raising his stock and getting the haul, but Andrew Wiggins' couple of picks that you ended up getting at the trade deadline.
I just didn't expect them to lose 10 games in a row.
That was bad.
To be fair, they had played some great teams in this 10 games. They played Minnesota, they played Cleveland, they played Boston, Memphis, New York, Detroit, Houston, the Clippers. They played teams that were better than them. They just should have beat Charlotte.
And Detroit.
They didn't. Well, Detroit's better than them.
Yeah, but that was a game they had. They had that game.
Fair enough.
There weren't a lot of close
That's
ones.
the Cade game winner. You're 100% right.
Yeah, the Cade game winner was a great shot. I just didn't expect them to lose 10 games in a row because you're mentioning, like, after the win tonight, they're 30-41. You don't lose 10 games in a row. You're like, what, 33-36? It's like more respectable. But I guess this is better for them long term because I do think that they're missing a point guard, and you have Tyler Hero play shooting guard again. I think he's more natural there. And I think if they get a point guard with Hero, Wiggins, Ware, and Bam, I think you're starting to see something come into fruition. They just have to have lottery luck at that point.